Tensions escalate in Ukraine as military actions intensify. Meanwhile, major political shifts occur in Serbia, and Trump's administration imposes new regulations on AI technology. Here are today's top 10 stories you need to know. Countries around the world are making new commitments to address climate change, with several nations announcing ambitious targets for reducing carbon emissions. These developments come as part of ongoing international discussions aimed at combating climate change and its effects. Key players, including the European Union and several Asian nations, are pledging to invest in renewable energy and sustainable practices. However, challenges remain in balancing economic growth with environmental responsibility. Critics argue that more immediate action is needed to meet global climate goals. As these discussions progress, the potential for collaborative efforts to address climate issues is gaining momentum. The coming months will be crucial in determining how effectively these nations can implement their commitments and foster a sustainable future. Recent data indicates that the U.S. job market is showing signs of recovery, with an uptick in employment rates across various sectors. This improvement comes as the economy begins to rebound from the effects of the pandemic, with businesses reopening and hiring resuming. Analysts attribute this positive trend to targeted government policies aimed at stimulating job growth and supporting small businesses. However, challenges remain, including labor shortages in certain industries and ongoing concerns about inflation. Economists are cautiously optimistic, noting that sustained recovery will depend on various factors, including consumer confidence and global economic conditions. As the job market continues to evolve, experts are watching closely to see how these trends will affect overall economic growth in the coming months. Japan's economy is showing signs of slowing growth, raising concerns among economists and policymakers. Recent reports indicate that key sectors such as manufacturing and exports have experienced declines attributed to global supply chain disruptions and reduced demand. This slowdown comes at a critical time as Japan seeks to recover from the economic impacts of the pandemic. The country has been grappling with an aging population and declining birth rates, which exacerbate the economic challenges. Government officials are considering various stimulus measures to support businesses and bolster consumer confidence. However, there are fears that prolonged economic stagnation could lead to increased unemployment and social unrest, particularly in urban areas heavily reliant on manufacturing jobs. Analysts are closely monitoring these developments, as Japan's economic health is crucial for the stability of the Asian market. To mitigate these risks, the government may need to implement bold reforms aimed at revitalizing the economy and enhancing workforce participation. China has introduced a series of new trade policies aimed at bolstering its economy amid escalating global tensions. The primary focus of these policies is to reduce dependency on foreign markets while enhancing domestic production capabilities. This shift comes as China seeks to strengthen its economic resilience in an increasingly uncertain global landscape. Analysts suggest that these changes could significantly alter international trade dynamics, particularly for countries that rely heavily on Chinese exports for their own economic stability. The new regulations include increased tariffs on key imported goods and various incentives for local manufacturers to stimulate domestic industry. While these measures may offer short-term advantages for China's economy, experts caution that they could provoke retaliatory actions from trading partners, further straining diplomatic relations. As nations grapple with this complex trade environment, the potential for conflict looms large. Moving forward, businesses worldwide must adapt their strategies to navigate the implications of China's evolving economic policies effectively. Latin America is currently facing unprecedented economic turmoil, with multiple countries experiencing severe inflation and rising unemployment rates. In Argentina, inflation has soared to over 100%, while Venezuela grapples with hyperinflation, leading to drastic currency devaluation and widespread food shortages. These dire economic conditions have ignited protests across the region, as citizens demand government accountability and effective solutions to their plight. The International Monetary Fund has intervened, providing financial assistance to struggling nations. However, the strict conditions attached to this aid have fueled further unrest among the populace. Economists warn that without substantial reforms, the situation could spiral into a full-blown humanitarian crisis, exacerbating poverty and social unrest. As governments struggle to stabilize their economies, the pressure mounts for leaders to take decisive action. Regional cooperation and increased investment may be critical for addressing these systemic challenges. If left unaddressed, the ongoing discontent could undermine democracy and stability in the region, necessitating urgent and innovative approaches to governance and economic recovery. Central Europe is grappling with a series of severe weather events that have left communities devastated and infrastructures in disarray. Heavy rains and violent storms have led to significant flooding in countries such as Germany, Austria, and the Czech Republic, impacting thousands of lives. Authorities are mobilizing emergency services to rescue individuals trapped in their homes and provide essential aid to the hardest-hit areas. The economic repercussions are dire, with many businesses forced to close their doors and transportation networks severely disrupted, leading to delays in supply chains. Climate scientists emphasize that such extreme weather patterns are likely to become more frequent and intense due to climate change, prompting urgent discussions about preparedness and adaptation strategies. As communities rally together to support one another, the resilience displayed highlights the human spirit in times of crisis. Looking ahead, meteorologists warn that more severe weather is on the horizon, underscoring the need for robust emergency planning and long-term initiatives aimed at mitigating the effects of climate change on vulnerable regions. Tensions between Iran and Russia have escalated significantly in recent weeks, with both nations openly exchanging accusations regarding their roles in the ongoing conflicts in the Middle East. Iranian officials have criticized Russia for its military support of the Syrian regime, which has exacerbated instability across the region. Concurrently, Russia has voiced concerns about Iran's increasing influence over Shiite militias in Iraq and Syria, fearing that this could threaten its strategic interests. Historically, both countries have been allies, particularly in their opposition to Western influence. But recent developments indicate a troubling fracture that could reshape alliances in the region. The implications of this rift are profound, particularly for the ongoing fight against terrorism and the stability of global oil markets, which remain sensitive to geopolitical shifts. Experts warn that deteriorating relations may complicate international negotiations concerning nuclear agreements and energy partnerships. Looking ahead, if diplomatic channels fail, the potential for miscalculations could lead to escalated conflicts, making it crucial for both nations to reassess their strategies. In a surprising turn of events, Serbian President Aleksandar Vucic announced he would resign within weeks as the country prepares for an upcoming election. His decision follows widespread protests and growing discontent among citizens regarding his administration's policies, particularly concerning media freedom and economic challenges. Vucic, who has been in power since 2014, faces accusations of authoritarianism, corruption, and mishandling economic issues that have left many Serbians struggling. His resignation marks a significant moment in Serbian politics, potentially ushering in a period of change and reform. Analysts suggest that this leadership vacuum may pave the way for a shift towards more democratic governance, depending on who emerges as his successor. Opposition parties are rapidly mobilizing, aiming to unite against Vucic's ruling Serbian Progressive Party in the upcoming elections. The international community is closely monitoring these developments, recognizing that Serbia's political stability is crucial for broader regional security in the Balkans. As the situation unfolds, the potential for new leadership could lead to a reevaluation of Serbia's domestic policies and its relationships with the European Union and neighboring countries. In a move that has stirred considerable debate, President Donald Trump's administration has imposed new regulations on artificial intelligence technologies. Effective immediately, OpenAI announced it would limit access to its latest AI product, GPT 5.6 Sol, to a select group of partners approved by the Trump administration. This decision follows a recent executive order aimed at enhancing national security through stricter vetting of advanced AI systems. The backdrop to these regulations is a growing concern over the potential misuse of AI technologies, particularly in areas like misinformation and cybersecurity threats. Critics argue this regulatory approach could stifle innovation and restrict access to beneficial technologies that could improve efficiency across various sectors. Proponents, however, contend that such measures are necessary to mitigate potential cybersecurity risks associated with AI, which could compromise sensitive data and national security. The implications of these regulations extend beyond the tech industry, affecting how AI is integrated into various sectors, from healthcare to defense. As discussions continue, many are questioning the balance between safety and progress in the rapidly evolving AI landscape. Looking ahead, the effectiveness of these regulations will play a crucial role in shaping the future of AI development and its integration into American society. In a significant escalation of the ongoing conflict, Ukraine has intensified its military operations against Russia. On June 30th, Ukrainian forces targeted an industrial facility in Volgograd, a city that has been critical in supplying the Russian war machine. This strike is part of Ukraine's broader strategy to disrupt Russian military production and reduce its capabilities. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky emphasized that such operations are crucial to undermine Russia's war efforts, which have persisted for over 5 years. This conflict has evolved from localized skirmishes to a full-scale war, reflecting the deep-rooted tensions between the two nations. The Russian response has included drone attacks on Ukrainian regions, leading to civilian casualties and increased destruction of infrastructure. Analysts suggest that this cycle of retaliation may lead to further escalation, raising significant concerns about civilian safety on both sides. The international community remains watchful, as these developments could have far-reaching implications for diplomatic relations and security across Europe. With NATO countries closely monitoring the situation, the potential for a wider conflict looms large. Experts warn that without proactive diplomatic efforts, the cycle of violence could spiral out of control. As military engagements continue to intensify, the urgency for negotiations becomes more pronounced, highlighting the need for a sustainable resolution to this devastating conflict. Thank you for watching today's top news stories. Which of these stories shocked you the most? Don't forget to like and subscribe for more updates.